YouTube? It is Uncle Blurred here, and I just want to talk a little bit about She Spawn number 3 from Image/Todd McFarland Productions. It is written by Gail Simone with the art by I.G. Guar, and I really enjoyed this book. There's a couple of things in this issue that were kind of hinted to that I hope don't become the big through line, but even if it does, it's okay to take those off roads in storytelling occasionally, and I'm gonna let it play out because I'm enjoying what Gail Simone is doing thus far in the story. I'll get into more detail in that later, but if you haven't been following, Jessica Priest recently became the leader of the Scorch team, and this is her being sent into the past to protect a young Al Simmons. And he's just a kid here, but you get to know him and realize that while he is just a kid, he is already had a tough life. And you get to see the Al Simmons that you know and love today. Just one back and forth where they get pulled over by a racist sheriff's deputy. And he's asking Jessica Priest about who she is and who's the boy. And he says, "This Cocoa Cub's your nephew?" "Sure he is, lady. Where's your daddy, boy?" And Al Simmons looks up at the man and confidently says, "I don't know. Probably with your mom." And Jessica is amused by that. So the young boy is still very much Al Simmons. And I'm not going to go away spoiler here, but Jessica Priest does put his deputy in his place, and he does come back eventually. There's a big plot point in the story here, but one thing I noticed is that as they're traveling, you find out that Al Simmons, the young Al Simmons, is a big comic book fan. But not just any comic books. In particular, he's a big fan of this new comic book company, Image, because this does take place in the 90s. And he emphasizes how, they have this brilliant creators that work for the big companies. But then when they felt like they were not being appreciated, they went off and did their own revolutionary thing. And, it shows them coming through the comic books. She buys them a bunch of books. It's, Savage Dragon, Youngblood, Spawn, which kind of breaks the fourth wall because Al Simmons is Spawn, and Jessica Priest not only works with Spawn in the present time, but she also got sent back in the past to rescue Spawn. And here is a young Al Simmons, Spawn, buying and reading and enjoying a Spawn comic book. It almost got to the point of just being gratuitously self-aggrandizing and self-celebratory. And I hope that this was just maybe a quick wink and a nod in that direction, because I think there's lots of story potential here beyond that. And I am excited to see where it goes. There was a lot of great action, and I like the fact that they're taking advantage of this as well to tell more about Jessica Priest's She Spawn. In the Scorch, there were hints, at least the parts that I read. I didn't read the first maybe 20 issues. I read number 1 through 3 maybe, and then I just quit up until maybe the late 20s, early 30s. But you only had hints of Jessica Priest's daughter in that writing. And before that, in the Spawn series, I started reading Spawn at 300. But here she actually directly addresses being a mother. And I think, dealing with young Al Simmons is making her, long for that relationship with her daughter. But, evidently and apparently, she can't have that relationship in order to keep her daughter safe. And so this is a very fun look at the Spawn universe. And I think it has lots of growth potential. They're doing a lot of things right. one minor thing that I hope is just a slight deviation, but even if they leave it in there, as long as they don't make a bigger thing of it, it won't even be that bad. So that's my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it if you check it out. I highly recommend it if you are a fan of Spawn and the Spawn universe. And if you would like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee using the QR code on the screen right now. But just watching, liking, subscribing, and maybe even sharing will more than enough. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.